Hey Bucs fans, welcome to week 5 of the FSW Coaches Show here at Florida Southwestern State College. I'm Sports Information Director Roy Allen, joined today by the myth, the man, the legend, head baseball coach Ben Bizier. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for the intro.
Coach, you've got kind of a unique coaching style, X's and O's wise, philosophy wise. Maybe talk a little bit about that style and maybe without sharing too many of your secrets, kind of how you accomplish that with your club.
Yeah, it's okay to share some of the secrets because the cats haven't been out of the bag now. But really, it's just about trying to play downhill, trying to be the aggressor, trying to deliver the first punch, the second punch, the third punch. And really, if you kind of look back at the teams that we've been able to be successful with, you can clearly see we're very patient at the dish. We are very aggressive on the base paths. And on the mound, we're coming after you. You know, we're really trying to attack the zone early. We try to attack the zone late. We don't waste a lot of pitches. We've had a really good strikeout to walk ratio on both sides. Even though we do strike out a lot offensively, we get to bullpens a lot. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of giving away some stuff. But really, in all actuality, when you're playing the game of baseball and the way that Florida Junior College Baseball works is you're playing 4 or 5 games a week. So if you can work down a pitching staff of another team, even if you don't end up reaping the rewards in that particular series, the next team that they play against will reap the benefits and the rewards of that. So which ultimately helps you in the end too. And I think that's one of the things that maybe is overlooked a little bit, is that we really, tried to make pitchers think multiple different ways, and we want the other team to know we're going to be aggressive before the game starts. We're not going to just sit back. If the door's open, we want to try to kick it down. And that's our goal. We're not trying to score a run or 2 runs. I don't care if we get on the board first. We're playing to, if the door opens a little bit, we want to be able to kick it down. And we want to try to have a lineup and a pitching staff in place where we can do that.
Absolutely. Taking a quick look back at last year, Coach, obviously came to an unexpected quick end there for your team, sitting at 16-11, playing against a very difficult early season schedule. I'm sure you felt like your team was primed for a repeat run at the Suncoast Conference Championship. How did you personally handle the way that the season ended, obviously because of coronavirus, and kind of what was your message to your players and what was their reaction to it?
Well, you probably won't. This isn't a very good answer for this show, but I moved on. I just moved on. Personally, I just moved on from the ball club. I didn't harbor any bitterness or any what could have been. I don't think the players did either. I think that we examined each scenario on an individual basis and we said, did you achieve what you were trying to achieve coming here? What's on the horizon for you? And let's go forward with that. So in terms of how we worked each individual one, we had a lot like Warner and Conus. I loved Warner. I love Tommy Joseph. I would have loved for those guys to finish it out. And you alluded to it a little bit. I do, and we did have the confidence that we were going to have a successful year according to our standards of success. So all the teams that we've been successful with have been strong finishers. Every team I've ever had that's won a conference championship has been knocking on the door and finished stronger than everybody else. And you look at the 2019 season, we won 12 out of the last 13 conference games. You can even go back to 2018 where I think we won 15 out of 16 or 15 out of 17. You can go back to 16, we won 13 in a row to finish the year. That part of it, the only part that stung was the part where the kids that left they just didn't get that major part of a growth, because it wasn't just a growth as a team. A lot of the players that I've had in the past have said those last 8 weeks really affected them, really changed them, really altered their perspective on life because of what they were able to, that sort of the pursuit and the chase of that thing that's not even real. It's like baseball players do have the opportunity. I think it's because there's so many players drafted. I think that's why. But baseball players do have this advantage over other amateur sports where you can sort of chase this unknown, and you get to even chase it as a coach.
Until they tell you can't.
Exactly,
you can chase
right. You get to chase it, but you don't even really know where your path leads you, you know? And I tell kids all the time, I'm doing the same thing. I'm chasing the same thing. I don't know where this leads. We don't know where it goes, but we just keep going, you know? So I think that part of it, the kids that did leave, I do, you know, say, hey, I wish you guys had that, but I'm sure they'll find it somewhere, you know, down the road, because the kids that left, it was just a great group of kids.
I was going to say, just a great group of guys last year that graduated here and now moving on playing at the Division I level.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, all spring sport athletes last year from NCAA all the way down, including our level, got their year of eligibility back. Major League Baseball draft pushed to just 5 rounds this year, so a lot of players that typically would be playing pro baseball aren't. I think that's going to make a huge impact on the college baseball landscape this year. How do you see it from your standpoint?
I think, yes. The first part is that now coaching is now your ability to be a good coach long term, you're tested now. And I think the coaches that are able to provide good structure, solid foundation, and lay the foundation for kids to progress. Because now you have longer, the kids have another year, so now that you have longer there. So I think the coaches that are able to do that and be successful with that, and you can't do it all yourself, you have to have good assistants that you can trust. So I think and there's a lot of them in the state of Florida, but I think a lot of the schools that have that in place, and all the great coaches in the state of Florida, I think are going to take advantage of that. Now, in terms of personnel, I would be lying if I said we didn't. We definitely benefited. Right. I mean, we definitely benefited from some kids that normally may either sign professionally or may have kept their commitment to a Division I school, but instead decided that it was too much of a logjam at that place in particular, or they wanted to play the draft. So we, personnel-wise, I feel pretty good about what we were able to do. But the thing is that you could see it happening really, really early on. So really
easier to prepare for.
It was all about just positioning yourself to be able to take advantage of the relationships that you had already built, you know, over the course of the years. So it was not like it was a free-for-all, because I did have some coaches tell me, hey, I kept on waiting for what everybody said was going to be a madhouse, and it never happened. It did happen.
They were last in line.
It's maybe, but not necessarily that they were last in line, but the relationships that a lot of the people, you know, the high school coaches, the travel ball coaches, the D1 coaches
were in place already.
Yeah, they were sort of already there, so you could kind of see, like, hey, this kid might slip through the cracks. This might happen here. This might happen here, and we were fortunate to be in a good position there to get some talented players.
I certainly think it's going to be a fun year for junior college baseball, just the talent base that everybody's going to have, and the quality of baseball I think is going to be very, very high this year. Turning the page to this season, Coach, your team a few practices under their belt now. Kids have been here about 3 weeks at this point in time. Who've been some guys that have caught your attention so far on your club?
It's hard to pick out, you know, a few, but I guess for the sake of the question, I can.
You have to, yeah.
I guess, you know, Luis Tuero is a kid that had some success in the ACC, and he's done a pretty good job so far. He's has a very professional attitude. He's very humble. He's very hardworking. He takes criticism. You can tell he's got some mental toughness to him. So I can appreciate his overall attitude and demeanor. Carter Cunningham is another kid that I like his approach just towards what he's doing. But on the positional side, some of the returners really worked hard. Alexander, Melendez, Corpus, Medina, Heisler, Maldonado. I'm not sure if I'm forgetting anybody, but those guys, that group kind of sticks out to me because they came back. They knew what we were selling them last year, and they bought it in the off season. And then on the mound, Alex Ayala is a kid that, you know, he looks pretty good. in his first outing. But I do think I can go back to what I just talked about a second ago was Wiggleneck is back. Davis is back. Kester is back. Knowles is back. All looking really, really good. Besser is back. Voss is back. Figueroa is a kid that didn't even pitch for us last year. Eric Figueroa was drafted higher than anybody we have on the club, and this is a kid that didn't pitch for us last year.
But understands the expectations.
Yeah, absolutely, and he looked really good, in his last outing. So it isn't necessarily about the new guys coming in. We do have some freshmen on the mound that we anticipate are going to have big impact, but it's kind of like looking at some of the guys you have coming back and saying, all right, this is great because now all these new guys can kind of chase the group that really understands it.
And that leads me right into my next question. A lot of experience coming back on this year's club. We would have in general had a lot coming back, but especially with the rule with the guys getting their year back and able to come back to our level once again. A lot of third-year guys back in the program this year. A couple of Division I transfers, a couple that you mentioned right there. Talk about how important, in a year of uncertainties, it's going to happen, there's going to be changes, things that are unexpected. Talk about how important having veteran guys on your club that have that experience, know what to expect. Talk about how important that is.
It's definitely important, especially because of the way that we structure kind of how, everybody plays. I say this to my players all the time. This is, I think, going to be my 8th year. Yes, 8th year. You lose track sometimes. 8th year as a head coach. I have never one time had a playing time complaint. It's never happened. I've never had a kid complain about playing time. Okay? So that's because I play everybody. So we develop the entirety of the pitching staff, and we develop the entirety of the positional group. So everybody plays. And now, when your depth is even more than that on both sides of the ball, you kind of look at it and you're like, wow, okay, so where do we get the most amount of consistency from? It's the guys that have kind of been there.
Right.
And a lot of times what happens in junior college baseball is you'll get a couple kids early on and you'll see them jump through the roof in the first 7 or 8 weeks. And then sometimes you'll get a kid and you'll see them, it'll take them an entire year and they'll come back the next year and they'll have that season about them. But now, unlike any situation, Mark Davis is a guy that has been with us for 3 years, right?
Came through the roof the first year.
Right.
Last year was the veteran guy for you. Now you've got him for a 3rd year.
Exactly, and there's maybe not anybody specifically like Davis, but as we have gotten a better handle on how we're doing it as a staff and how we can get guys to best respond on an individual basis, a good example would be a guy like Noah Heisler. We got him as a transfer from VCU. He had a lot of crudeness in his game as a defender. He wasn't really necessarily ready to contribute on a regular basis with the glove. The bat was there, but it was a little bit up and down. And now you look at him, he walks around with a lot of confidence. He has his lower half. He understands his lower half defensively, so he moves around. And again, all the new kids coming in, they look at Noah and they don't see what I saw. Right. They don't see what I saw when I worked him out the first time. Right. What I saw when I worked him out the first time was, all right, well, I guess
it's got a chance.
Yeah.
And now that chance is coming to fruition.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Some changes to your schedule this year, not as many as some of the sports that we have here at FSW. What have you seen schedule-wise that's changed for you? Or maybe what are some key dates this fall that fans can look at and be important dates for your club?
We're very lucky to not have been really affected by the schedule change because most of the time in the fall you're just kind of grinding it out anyways. Yeah, the 60-day window is a little bit of a different deal, but for everything that you're going to do anyways, it doesn't really hurt you. And I think most of the baseball coaches in the state of Florida would say the same thing, is that We're all pretty much under the same structure. We actually have our first games against outside competition this coming weekend. We play St. Pete and Polk, and they did away with the all-star game. So really, I look at kind of our biggest little stretch, and I'm not even sure if you know about this yet, but we have an absolute amazing opportunity. We are going to put on a scout day that is going to have more scouts than have ever been at any college level scout day, because we are running our scout day at the same time that the traditional World Wood Bat Championship, they moved it from Jupiter to Fort Myers, so we switched our scout day to the night before that Jupiter event.
Good thinking, Coach.
Yes, thank you. So now, the phone has just been ringing off the hook with, who are you going to go against, how many guys are you going to throw, who are you going to throw, when they're going to throw. So we got so much interest, we're actually doing 2 scout days. We're doing one Wednesday night and one Thursday morning. So our players, I haven't even told them yet, but our players are gonna be very spoiled, because
we'll find out how many watch the show. Right?
If you want to play professional baseball,
you're gonna have the opportunity.
Yeah, you want to be at our scout day.
That's awesome. Good news for the kids. All right, Coach. Now we're going to turn off the coaching hat for a moment and find out about Coach Bizier, the man. Some quick, rapid-fire questions here to find out some quick facts about you. Okay. First question: favorite professional sports team?
The New England Patriots.
New England Patriots. New quarterback this year, Cam Newton. Tom Brady down here. Did that break your heart seeing him in a Buccaneers uniform?
It broke my heart to see him leave. There's no question about that. But you see it coming. He's 43. I still love him. My son has a Tom Brady pillow, but
oldest player in NFL history to score a touchdown on opening weekend. That's pretty amazing for him. Rushing touchdown. Favorite baseball player growing up?
Nomar Garciaparra was my favorite player.
Nomar Garciaparra. Do you know why his name was Nomar?
Because it's Ramon spelled backwards.
There you go. His dad's name was Ramon spelled backwards and Nomar.
Yeah.
Can't get any trivia past you. This one's a big one for you. I know as a baseball guy you're superstitious. Game day superstitions for Coach Bizier that you can tell people.
Well, at home it used to be when I was at Broward for years, I would drag the field before, because I was the field crew. Mm-hmm. So I would drag the field, and then when I got here, I had nothing to do because we had a field crew. Yeah. So I had to figure out something to do. So now I just go upstairs and take a shower. That's true. Coach
Bizier does take a shower before the games.
Yeah,
I do get to see that, and when I walk through the press box there, that's true. It smells good though. It makes this press box smell great. There's no doubt about that.
Good.
Ghost runner on second.
Okay.
Single. Does he score from second?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he scores, but he's getting sent.
He's getting sent. Okay,
yeah.
Good. That's a tough one. I mean, you never know, right?
Yeah.
Fernando Tatis Jr., swinging 3-0, up 7, grand slam, okay or no?
Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever.
I mean, it's a 7-run game, not a 40-run game.
Right?
The team that was complaining also beat a team 30-2 the year before.
Yeah,
so just didn't understand that one.
Just play the game.
Favorite food for Coach Bizier?
Steak. It's any kind of a steak. I like New York strip is actually high up.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
How you like it cooked?
Medium rare.
Guess
a lot of people. Hold on a second. We need to address something.
Okay.
So if anybody from the restaurant industry is watching this, where we get so caught up in this thing, medium rare is a thing.
Yeah. I go medium well. So
they try to pin you down and
say
like,
one or
well,
the other.
which one do you want? And it's like, I want medium rare. It's in between.
So here's what I've done. I say I want medium plus.
Okay.
So you could go, I want medium minus and see how that works out.
I'll try. I don't think
that's good. See if it works. All right, now we have a question from one of our social media followers. We always ask them before these shows if they have questions.
Really?
We got a question from @Melissa_Arnold. She asks, have you become softer since you had a daughter?
That's really funny. The answer is probably a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. My players will tell you that I'm nicer now.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
You just don't want to call it softer.
No, I won't call it softer. But my players have noticed that I've always been kind of even keel,
Mhm.
but I have been a little. I've controlled blow-ups, I call them.
Okay.
I've been having trouble finding
Okay.
the nuclear button. So.
So there you go, at Melissa Arnold,
Yes.
a little bit.
Good.
Okay, last one, most importantly, you got 3 little guys running around at your house. So if you could have any superpower, what superpower would you have?
I would be invisible.
Invisible.
Yes.
Why is that?
Think about it.
Just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yes. You can cause all kinds of hell. Sorry, havoc.
That's okay. We can use that word on online. It's good. That's it. That's all we got on the rapid fires. You passed it with flying colors, as we knew you would, Coach.
Yeah, no
Appreciate
doubt.
you playing along there. That wraps up week 5 of our FSW Coaches Show here at FSWBucs.com and at FSW Bucs on social media. Thank you everybody for watching. Next week we will have round 2 of our interviews with our FSW coaches as we have a chat with men's basketball coach Eric Murphy for the 2nd time this year as his team begins their official practice sessions in October. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Go Bucs.